Today is March 26, 2023. It's getting better. There's only a few left today that just took off. Um, during the case, somebody had made a 25-gram bet with someone, okay? And they were all talking about it. And then they were betting him this, they were betting him other money, they were betting him different situations, and they were gambling. I think Will has a gambling problem. Because when I went out to eat with that one guy, he's like, and the one officer I was talking to said he thought he was a plant from the police department because they're actually working the case that agent opened, the protected custody case, and for them to get information. He said, well, I know, he works in a factory, but he raises horses. And he said, I know somebody who knows somebody who deals drugs. He said, I went to him. He said, they said that they all know that you didn't know that agent was in debt to those drug dealers, and he let them hurt you in front of people to till I got enough money to pay him back. And you said they stole $300,000 from your case, and I said yes. He said they said that's the sweet spot between 100 and 300,000 is another drug shipment. And that's what they did. Okay. And then I met him again for dinner. And he said, I also have a friend on the local police department. Now, there's guys around me that I don't recognize. Okay. And they're staring at me. And he said, well, the friend on the local police department said they're actually working that protected custody case that agent opened on you. They knew about the Texas group. And I said, oh, the Kingsmen. He said, is that what they call themselves? He said they went down to question this judge down in Texas, and he killed himself. He said there's another judge, and I forget what state he said, involved in this human trafficking. They're in it together. They're actually working the case. He said they're not releasing a lot of information because they're trying to get these people. See, I just wonder. I bet, you ever hear of those rich guys that like to play poker and they can't play poker and they lose a ton of money? Yeah. Well, I think he's got a betting problem because they bet somebody 25 grand on one bet. Then they kept saying, I bet you this, I bet you that. And those drug dealers were using him as a sap. These people that get gambling problems. Well, you got to think. They already know about Will. November 6, 22, Trinity Gospel Temple, in front of my client and other people. They're in there talking, Karen's okay anymore? We found the protected custody order. I thought you should have just talked to the police. And we found the case. And then they're talking about the Ron lying group. And I said, I told those people for that to stay out of this. She sent in proof she was sick. And then they're talking about another thing in the case. And they said, well, the agent that returned her phone call, it was verified by an officer before she called him back. He's the one that told on that charge to her. And the officer didn't tell on him before, but he verified he's seen him tell on her before she called him back. Oh my Lord, and they walk out. They know that. They know he stole the money from the case the first day. And this is his big scam. December 2nd, 22, my phone's tapped. There's guys from the protected custody case in there and Wendy's Alliance, and I got my day program in there. Is that the one that church tried to have killed? Yes. I heard she didn't get any money out of this. He said, no, it's that one guy from the case stealing every dime for himself since day one. Now they've already even showed up and said, it is what's going on. Dave and Will knew each other before the case. And where Dave was trying to have me killed before it, and I figured out where they went and got him, and that's where, after that blonde girl showed up in that old couple that's supposed to be Will and Michelle, that and that was March 18th. Then the human trafficker showed up, the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, threatened to knife me. He purposely purposely let the human trafficker kidnapper go on September 20, when I tried to report what happened on September 21st, 18. See, I talked to him on like the 27th or 28th, and because I took a day and I prayed, and then I called the hotline. Then it was 4 days later, so it was about the 27th, 28th of 18. Try to report what happened on the 21st. Was there a camera above you while you're sitting on that bench when you heard his voice, and then he came up behind you when you stood up? And I'm like, I don't know, because he asked me a question I wouldn't know. It didn't matter if there was a camera there or not. It was his duty to find out who he was and who was paying that Pizza Hut lady to stalk me. And the mail banker at Huntington Bank screaming at her to stay out of this, and they walk off together. That was a kidnapper for the human trafficker. They took Marlisa, my house manager's niece. They've took several people from this area, and the one other girl that I work at my other job, they took her family member and bragged how they tied her up and cut her into pieces. And she knows about the van, and the way she's describing the second guy, he sounds like my rapist. I think he has a fake FBI badge, because that's how they're luring people outside, and then they're grabbing them. How did you know about the white van? The white guy with the tattoos and that. And then I got to thinking where I seen him. See, September 21st, 18, I had went to Giant Eagle. Dave calls me, where he at? I'm buying something for dinner, and he had a phone call to make, and he wouldn't answer his phone. Well, I go get a flu shot. I got dizzy, sat on the bench, and then I can't believe she's here. And I stand up and I turn my cart, and he comes up behind me. I'd stab you right here now if it wasn't for that security guard. And the Pizza Hut lady's like, you're going to stab her and get it over with? He said, I won't make it up for that security guard. So I turn my cart into the bank while they're arguing it out. Because I figure if I run further, they're just going to stab me. And then the Pizza Hut lady comes up to the mail banker. I get paid to watch. Okay? And the mail banker's like, lady, stay out of it. She's like, no, I get paid to watch her. He's like, lady, I mean, it won't be worth in the end. You better stay out of this. And he's yelling at her. And she goes to walk off, and the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, just threatened to knife me, walks off with her too. And Dave instantly calls me, and I put him on hold. I won't let him know he just did that. Well, they get my account open really quick. I look up, and a group of people are leaving. I get in the middle of them. And I get in my car, and I freak out, and I drive 20 miles down to Walmart 62. There's an African-American lady and her white boyfriend harassing me. She spit my face, and they're harassing me. Then I go in, and the other guy's there, you know. He said, what a shame, he's got black hair, black eyes, and an eagle tattoo, but he's older. Okay? I realized where I seen the fake FBI badge, guy with a fake FBI badge. He was the white boyfriend. Yeah. He was with her. I hadn't called the FBI yet. And he was harassing me. Then I got to thinking. Now, I've had officers in uniform mention the case he created. And the undercover police, even my brother, seen him. When I went out to Medina when it was hot and heavy, I had 6-8 guards that day. Okay. And the police refer to them as officers too. Okay. This guy was never seen around any of them. And there's sometimes he'll just drive by and let me go in stores by myself. Okay. He was in Giant Eagle in Maslin, and he's mocking me. Okay. And then, and he's never seen around the officers. And then I went to McDonald's to get something to eat for church one time. He comes in and goes, and I'm like, so I got up and threw my food out and left and went on to church. I came home, and I went through Louisville Taco Bell, and he's out there with the lady, pretend you're my hot girlfriend, laughing. I thought, weirdo. Went home and locked my doors. He's the one that tortured me. He threatened to arrest me at Faith Family Church after they tortured me, and they sold videos of it. And the young usher, what you did was considered rape. You leave her alone. He's one of the gang members with a fake FBI badge. They know who he is. There's other ones there that were saying we're FBI, we're working the case, da 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 da. The only one FBI was Will. And they're set up in a church of 3,000 that does outreach programs. They need to find out who they are. They could grab their kids. They're in a perfect setup to have endless victims. And they're date rape drugging people. And they're human trafficking. They better get them for their own safety in the community, because my pastor's a really good man. He sends the people in his church, because he's got such a big flock, out into communities, to homeless shelters. They never know those people are missing. Read to children, schools, anywhere that they would need help. They better get them out there. And they know who they are for their own safety. Like I said, where they said they knew he was in debt, they knew a lot about Will. They showed up, and it is what's going on. Will knew Dave before the case. Then, they were mocking me that Dave's girlfriend walked in front of me. Well, the young blonde girl, the old parents, they were part of the mean parents that made fun of me. And they laughed that was actually Will and Michelle in March of 18. See, I couldn't figure out, why would Stark County FBI Stark County FBI task force call me? I lived in Portage. It should have went to Akron. They didn't even have jurisdiction. I told you, I googled where Will said he was, and I found him. I didn't even believe he was real. He was so mean. They said he stole the money on the first day. He's using this case as a scam to pay those drug dealers back. And people are disappearing and dying. He's not funny. Now, Derry. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. But yeah, that's where I googled him and I found him. And he had the kidnapper for the human traffickers the first day. And where this gang, where that took that one lady's family member and bragged how they killed her and laughed in her face in stores. They're doing that to me now. They're showing up and laughing at me how they killed that poor girl. She was beautiful. There's 6 monsters. That gang is about as bad as the one in the 70s where they had to kill somebody to get in the gang. They're into murder, wiretapping, human trafficking, drug trading. Sound familiar? And scaring people out of everything in life. And running great big scams, and they're nationwide. He's in it with them. Why would you want your 19-year-old kid to date a 63-year-old man? One that's trying to kill his wife. Like the guy that I went out to eat with, he said they already figured that he used her as a pawn for Dave to keep him hooked while they tried to kill me. So he wouldn't back out of it. Because he'd kill her if he got mad at her. So why would you want your 19-year-old kid? You can't have kids. You can't have grandkids with her. He's not going to live long enough. See what I mean? Exactly. They said it's like a working trio. He's using her daughter. His daughter's using your husband was using them to get rid of you. They're just all feeding off each other. Scary, isn't it? They told Dave March 1st to 15 and 19 in a legally bugged house, 8 to 10:30 at night. I'm sitting on the back porch and they call him. What's going on? It's nothing but a real life case of how to get away with murder. She'll realize it. Oh, I do. Trust me, I do. I keep meeting victims, and I keep telling the authorities, trying to get somebody down here to help. Do you realize they did all this in front of people? That's just like that one coworker. I said, well, the Florida plates that were here. Yeah. I said, they were in Louisville, they were in other places. She said, well, I go to the local bars. And she said, they were in there. I said, they said they were drug dealers, yes. I said, did you know about Henry Moffey? Sounds about right. Yeah, I knew of him. And I said, well, they said they were a gentleman's club from Florida. She's like, no, they said they were this gang. And it's as bad as that one in the 70s that you had to kill someone to get in there. Uh-huh. It's that bad. And I'll tell you what. I bet with them saying he was in, they know a lot about Will. And they have pulled in, it is what's going on. Dave knew Will before the case. Before the 2 attempts where the church people were related to him or connected somehow. Okay? And then after that girl showed up, the human trafficker, he let the human trafficker kidnapper go the first day. Mm-hmm. He had a video of him. He could have found out who he was. Was there a camera above you? I don't know. Because he asked me a question I wouldn't know. Either say you're lying or arrest you. I'm like, what? He said, was there a camera above you or not? I don't know. See, I wouldn't know. And it wasn't my place to look for a camera. It was his to find it, get a statement from the Huntington bankers, and pull their tapes too of a picture of him and ID him. He didn't want it. He was tampering with evidence and tampering with witnesses. Badgering laws, Department of Justice 1729. You have to take a victim, a witness, or informant statement, follow through, or it's badgering. Badgering is obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses is 20 years. Made me plead for my life, listed me informant, the $5,000, the diplomatic immunity, it'd be for life, even when I tell. But you tell someone else you're crazy, no one will help you. He can't do that. Another agent last year in another state tried to tell an informant they couldn't say anything. They got an attorney and sued him. The press ripped him a new one across the nation. That agency better never back one agent ever telling anybody they can't say anything. They don't have authority to do that. They don't. And if they think they do, they need to shut them down. It takes a sitting judge to put a gag order on you. Just like policing agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life and they have to speak to everyone for their starters, abuse and misconduct, it's 2 to 20 years. And then it's not admissible. It's a severe Fourth Amendment. Like Officer Reinhardt said, don't you worry about a little thing. Because I'm telling about it was supposed to be a shower scene. I had bruises and I was getting sick. And they said they have date rape drug confessions. Don't you worry about a little thing until Will from the FBI took your statement. He agreed to protect you. There's only protected custody cases with statements. That's why that heavyset officer showed up the next day and said, I asked Dave about those people threatening her. That's what it takes in the Department of Justice to be in somebody's home. There's nothing else. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. But yeah.